Hello and welcome. My name is Christina from Empowered Creator. I am a mindset and conscious manifesting teacher and coach, and this is my YouTube channel. Here I talk about all things law of assumption, mindset, conscious manifesting, the quantum universe, and a lot more. And my goal is to simplify everything without the fluff. So if you guys like this content and you would like to see more of it, I would love it if you would subscribe to this channel, comment on this video, like it, share it, and stick around. Also, if you need help with your specific situation, I offer one-on-one coaching as well as custom subliminals for whatever needs you may have. I also have some self-study courses about manifesting your specific person. So if you're interested in any of these services, the links are below in the description box. Click on them and they're going to take you to my website. With all that being said, let's dive into today's video. In today's video, I want to address something that comes up to my attention very often, and I know it's actually quite common both in the manifesting community but the extended spiritual community as well, and that is the topic of consulting with psychics, consulting with tarot card readers, or watching tarot card readings online, and how this impacts manifesting, if it's recommended while you're consciously manifesting, and so on. So this is what I'll be discussing in today's video. Stay tuned. So I know how popular tarot card readings are, psychic readings as well. I know a lot of my clients have also indulged in them. I even have clients who have told me that they've spent a lot of money on psychics and on tarot card readers. But even if you haven't spent much money on it or any money on it, I know that many of you actually watch them on YouTube and on other social media and on other online platforms. And so I know a lot of you ask for my input and on my opinion on those. So first of all, let me start with a disclaimer that I, or any other coach for that matter, cannot tell you what to do and what not to do. That, at the end of the day, is entirely up to you. We can only offer opinions and recommendations based on our own experience, based on our own interpretations of the teachings, and so on. And let me also say that I absolutely see and I absolutely agree how these practices, psychic readings, tarot card readings, can actually be very fun, if not downright addictive to watch. And while I won't necessarily be so strict as to discourage you and say, don't watch these ever again, if you're manifesting a desire, especially for those of you who are manifesting a specific person, because these are usually the people who get drawn into psychic readings, tarot card readings, and so on, I would at the very least tell you to be very careful. And there are a few reasons why I say that. Reason number one, remember the whole principle that we always discuss in conscious manifesting of everyone is you pushed out. A lot of the people, especially when they're starting out with manifesting, do not have confidence in their own abilities, do not have confidence in their own creative power, and so they seek out those professionals and they seek out those readings as a way to get answers as to where things stand with their SP, for example, or as a way to have a peek into the energy of the moment. While this in itself is not necessarily a problem, and like I just said, it can actually be fun, the risk comes when you start relying on those readings for answers and for decisions, and when you start taking these readings so seriously, and I'm going to get that in a minute. I'm not saying they're not true necessarily, but you also don't want to rely exclusively on these readings, because at the end of the day, through the principle of everyone is you pushed out, through the concept of everyone and everything around you is a mirror of your own inner world, what you're watching in these readings is actually your own energy reflected back to you. And so if you're using these readings as a way to get answers or to make decisions, you run the risk of falling way off track with your manifestation. And I've seen that happen where people are told a specific thing that they didn't like or a specific outcome that they didn't like by a psychic or by a tarot card reader who just read the energy of the moment, who might even have been reflecting their own fears and their own insecurities and their own doubts. And then they go on to spiral for days and weeks and even months on end, you guys. This is how seriously some people take those readings. This is how much they rely on them for answers and for decisions. And unfortunately, as Neville Goddard said in his famous lecture, The Pearl of Great Price, which if you haven't read it, if you haven't listened to it, I urge you to do it, you actually end up giving your own power away. And this is the real risk with indulging in those practices too much and using them as your guide to get answers and to read what might be happening on your SP side. And instead, you're not choosing your own reality. You are relying on something external to tell you what is true, to tell you what's happening, to tell you what to do, and you're giving your own power away. Now, the second reason why I said be careful with those readings is if you're relying on them to perhaps predict the future. From the conscious manifesting point of view, the future has an infinite number of pathways in which it could go. It's not set in stone by any means. It is not predetermined. No one can foretell what the future holds for you. And as such, what ends up happening when these psychic readers, these tarot card readers tell you what is going to happen to you in the next, say, week or 3 months or 6 months or however long into the future they are reading, is that they're just channeling one timeline of the infinite number of timelines there are, and they're giving you that. So essentially, they are condensing the infinite number of future pathways, the future timelines in which the situation could go, and they're giving you just one of all of these. So technically speaking, they're not incorrect. Technically speaking, they're not lying to you. They are truly channeling one timeline out of an infinite number. However, I hope that the limitation here is very, very obvious already. That if your future is infinite, if your future can happen in any number of ways, of an infinite number of ways, you can't possibly rely on the answer that it is going to happen exactly in this way. And especially if this answer is an answer that doesn't align with what you want, and then you allow yourself to spiral over it, to fall off track over it, to think that your manifestation is never going to happen, to think that the outcome is never going to be favorable to you. And in other words, we go back to giving your power away. We're going back to you're not buying the pearl of great price, which is the trust and the confidence in your own creative power. And one third reason why I said you need to be careful if you're indulging in those practices is because, like I said in the beginning of this video, they can be very, very addictive. And when you become addicted to something that doesn't quite align with conscious manifesting, because you can't on the one hand claim your own inner creative power and then on the other hand rely on an outside source to tell you what's going to happen, what the answer is, what your SP is thinking and feeling about you, and so on. You understand these are two contradictory things. You either have the power or you don't have it. So if you end up becoming too addicted to tarot card readings, psychic readings, and so on, you're most likely going to fall off track from your manifesting at some point or another. Because at some point or other, you're not going to be at your best energy, and then you have a reading or you watch a reading online, and it reflects that bad energy back to you. It reflects those fears back to you. It reflects those insecurities back to you, and then you fall off track. Or you rely on such readings so much for answers and on what to do next and on what to decide next and so on, that you forget to exercise your conscious manifesting. You fall into the habit of relying on those teachings to tell you what is going to be, what to do, what to think, what to believe, what to assume, and you're not exercising your own inner creative power, which is the only power which allows you to actually choose your life, choose your outcomes, choose your desired reality, and actually create it in your 3D. So to summarize this video, it's not that I'm actually necessarily against psychic readings, tarot card readings, and so on, but I do want you to be very careful if you've also decided to practice conscious manifesting as a lifestyle, to always, always, always prioritize your own inner power, your own inner creative power over any external or outside source. That includes psychics, that includes tarot card readers, that even includes me and other coaches. And always, always, first and foremost, rely on yourself to have the answers, to know what is happening, to know what your energy is, to know and decide where your SP's energy is, or any other manifestation for that matter, and to perhaps treat these readings as something fun, as something to indulge in every now and then, as something that has the potential to reflect back to you what energy you're in at the current time, but never, ever, ever get addicted to them. Never treat them as the only and ultimate source of truth, and never over-rely on them for answers and for decisions and for predicting your future. Because ultimately, you are the only one who is creating your life and your future through your inner energy. With all that being said, I'm going to wrap up this video here. I intend that this has helped. As always, I very much appreciate you guys being on this channel, watching this content. I love making this content for you. And as always, I look forward to seeing you all at the next video. Until then, take care and bye-bye.